Welcome, this is Flame Sky, and this is our 25-part series on classics but not masterpieces. Here we cover the missing puzzle pieces that prevent an album from being a masterpiece, or how an album could have even been better even though it's a classic. Our first album is Love, Devotion, Surrender by John McLaughlin and Carlos Santana and the crew. It's 1973, and John is at the height of his prowess. The album features half of Carlos's band and half of John's band. Of course, Billy Cobham is incredible, as well as Larry Young, and for me, the surprise was Doug Rouch from Santana's band on bass. Armando Peraza is on percussion. This is a very spiritual album, and when I first heard it, it was on vinyl. A Love Supreme and Naima are Coltrane classics that are done wonderfully. The highlight of the album for me is McLaughlin's The Life Divine, and I enjoyed the other acoustic piece, Meditation. The track Let Us Go Into the House of the Lord is a traditional piece, but is related to a guitar version of the one Pharoah Sanders did a few years earlier. The track, in my opinion, that prohibits this album from being a complete masterpiece is not including the track Flame Sky. Flame Sky would end up on Santana's Welcome album later that year in 1973. It is another amazing track that is comparable to The Life Divine. McLaughlin does join in on this one track on the Welcome album and gets co-composer credit with Santana and Rouch. It's sort of strange because they were playing the piece on the sessions or rehearsals, but this piece would have made the Love, Devotion, Surrender album probably the greatest in my opinion. This group would tour to support this album in the fall of 1973, and they would include the track Flame Sky along with pieces by Cobham and Young. The live concerts, especially the ones in Chicago and Toronto, are among some of my favorite bootlegs from the fusion genre. After the short tour, McLaughlin would rejoin his Mahavishnu Orchestra and Carlos would rejoin his Santana band. Columbia Records would reissue another CD release of the album with the bonus tracks of A Love Supreme and Naima, but no Flame Sky. We just wish they would remaster the live performance in Chicago. Fast forward decades later, the two men would record this music at Montreux in 2011, and it was pretty good for men in their 60s. Again, no Flame Sky, but it being a live performance, I can't complain that much. In conclusion, Love, Devotion, Surrender is that Zen music or that upper room music that takes one on a spiritual journey. Carlos stepped up his game on this one as he knew he was playing with Mahavishnu. What I also admire most about John is that he knew he wanted that Latin or Spanish influence within the music with Carlos, and he would later find that magical collaboration with Paco years later. This is a heavy album, and as a teenager decades ago, it opened up a portal of how I listen to the music of life. To me, it's one of my favorites, and it's more than a classic.